Alright, what's going on, guys? Today we're going to be taking a look at the final figure here of our Legacy Wave 1, not counting Walmart exclusives, because any exclusives are just kind of outside of this continuity here, whatever you want to call it. They are by themselves, and I'm not getting all of them. Here we have Kickback, the last Deluxe of Legacy. We'll go ahead and take a quick look at the box here. Go ahead and raise my camera up. Take a look here. Here is, and just in case you're wondering, the box was like this when I bought it. It wasn't like this because I threw it. There was one with a better box but worse paint on the face, and so I picked the one with the best looking paint and stuff, best looking figure on the inside, and it ended up being one of the worst boxes. But here's the top of your box: Transformers Legacy, Takara Tomy Generations, Transformers down the side. You've got a picture of Kickback as a little grasshopper with a gun on his stomach and little rocket guns on his wings. You've got his name there, Decepticon Kickback, Grasshopper or Cricket, whichever way you want to do it. I think it's supposed to be a Grasshopper. Transformers Legacy, Deluxe class in multiple languages. Here on the side you have your Decepticon mosaic thingy. I still can't think of the word. Collage, maybe? A little Decepticon collage. I think that's closer to what I want. There's Kickback hanging out on the bottom. Here you have words and stuff, and a QR code with some text specs if you want to use that. Here he is as a Grasshopper, 14-step conversion to him as a robot mode, and there you have Kickback's name again, Transformers War That Meets the Eye. On the other side, which is definitely the worst damaged side, there you have Kickback as a robot, and then again the little bit of a zoomed out picture there of him as a robot. And then on the bottom you have your words and things and your barcode and all that stuff. That definitely didn't bang the box up more. It can't be damaged more than it already is. And here we have our figure Kickback. Get him in the middle of the focus. He is in robot mode. This is not a permanent change. This all has to do with the theme of how I got to go from not liking the figure to liking it. We'll go through that as we go. I wasn't going to get it, but I decided to get it just because I wanted to complete the wave at that point. And when I got it, I didn't care for it still, mostly due to reasons with accessories that we'll get into in a bit. But for now, we'll go ahead and take a look at this guy. And you can see under his face, if I can get it to focus. There's a little bit of red paint there that they missed. The visor on, very small. The other ones either had that worse, or they had that worse, or they were missing half the paint on the visor. But I just wanted to zoom in so you could see that. When we're zoomed out, I can still see a little bit because I know where it is, but it's not that bad unless you're right up on it. As far as other paint goes, his head is molded in black. You have silver at the crown, silver at the face with the red on the visor. These antennae are kind of a soft rubbery plastic, and they are painted yellow. On the chest you have the nice purple Decepticon logo with your silver outline. You've got this clear yellow plastic chest. I don't know why it's on hinge, and it does not open. There's no flex in here or anything to get those tabs out. They could have just clipped it in and saved themselves the effort of having to put a pin in here. They could have just done a bunch of clips. It just makes it look like it's supposed to do something when it's not. But you've got silver paint under that, it looks like, backing the yellow up. And then you've got a little bit of paint. There's blue paint there. I don't think the top is painted. I think that's just textured in there on the yellow plastic, but there's blue paint in here. Coming down the arms, you've just got black shoulders with purple forearms and black upper arms. There's a little bit of the clear plastic for the wings that are on the hinge here, and we'll get into those in a bit. Coming down, you've got a lot of black, but luckily for us there's some paint down here and things that kind of break them up, so it's not all black all the time. You've got some yellow here on the underside of the little knee guard things. You've got some venting on his shins that is painted red, and then his feet are purple. On the side you have the purple feet and the purple insect legs coming out the back, so it's not totally boring. And then coming up the side, you've got the purple on the forearms and the back of the upper arms. The bug legs are purple, so it's not boring from the side either. The back is kind of boring though, because it's just black with the wings, and then there's purple on the arms and legs, but it's the least interesting angle, which is usually the case. The back is not got a backpack, but it is not the most vibrant. And then there you have him in robot mode for posability. His head is on a ball joint, but you can get a little bit of a wiggle up and down and a little bit side to side, but it's not anything crazy. It's mostly just a 360 swivel. It is not loose, but it's not tight either. These wings can move on the hinge with the shoulder, but they're independent of the shoulder. The shoulder's on the outside, and when you move one, you're not moving the other, which is nice because that could have gone wrong. I just kind of have mine back here at whatever angle they end up at, and then the shoulder can move 360 degrees when it doesn't focus on my hand. It can go out a little, no, just call it 90. Go out 90 degrees. You have a 360 at the bicep, and then you have a single hinge elbow that gets you all the way in. But if you wanted to use it, you also have this hinge up here at where the transformation for the bug leg is, so you could use that as like a double jointed elbow if you wanted a certain look or angle on it. And then there's nothing at the wrist unless you count this as downward movement for transformation to insect mode. Coming down to the waist, he does have a 360 degree waist joint. He does have universal hips. My thighs are a little loose. I'm going to have to tighten these up. But he will go all the way out to the side. He will go back all the way. He will go forward all the way. Aforementioned loose thigh swivels will get you a full 360. And then for the knee, you get 90 degrees just about. You could probably get a little more, but the little insect leg details kind of stop it. And then as far as the feet go, for transformation, the toe folds away, so you can use that as a toe pivot with as much range as you would want up, and a real little bit down, like negligible amount down. And then you've got the 90 degree ankle tilt for all your tilting needs. So he's a pretty posable deluxe. The only thing he's really missing is that wrist swivel. And considering the piece of plastic that it's on, I could see them doing it, but I can also see why they didn't do it. And that's about it for his looks and articulation. So we'll go ahead and show off his accessories, which are the things that made or broke this figure for me. We'll start off with the one I liked. Excuse me. We'll start off with the one I liked right away, which was his little gun here. It is molded in black, then painted silver with some bits painted in a nice metallic purple. And I really liked this little Tommy gun that he has. I just thought it looked really cool. And you can either store it on his back. I find that it fits best if the drum goes into this gap here. So plug it in that way. Same way you'll plug it in insect mode. Or he can hold it in his hand, like so. he says the greatest of ease. There he has his little gun. You could also plug it into a port here, a port here, a port here, or there are ports on the bottom of his toes. I haven't really been mentioning the ports, but there are still ports on these guys. Also, fight stand adapter. Haven't been talking about that either. Gonna have to try to remember to mention that stuff. But there you have his gun, and then he also came with these two bits, which I did not like at first. I thought they were clunky, and they didn't work like I thought they did, which disappointed me. But then I learned some things, and now I'm really happy with them. So in the beginning, when I saw pictures, I thought these were gonna like slot over this wing section, and they don't. There's a tab and a tab, and you've got to match them up with slots in the wings. You can either have them one up from the bottom, because there are tabs high enough for that, so that way they're kind of out past the wingtip here, or you can have them all the way to the bottom slot, which will kind of line them up more with it. And you can have the flat sides together, so that way the wingtip is flat on one side, or like on the box it showed them like this, where it kind of created a more full wing with it. But it's so wonky from this angle. It looks kind of good from this side, I am not gonna lie, that looks kind of nice. But from this angle, it looks so wonky that I couldn't like it. And then I know that the original toy had the flat wings like this, or at least I think it did. I don't know anything G1. If I say I know, I have no clue. But I think they look like this, so that's going to make the G1 fans happy, and then this is just they're either going to have to line this up on this side, so that way you know it's still flat, or they're just not going to have to use that bug mode. But you can also plug them into his shoulders, which it showed on the box. Stop focusing on that, focus on the guy. You can plug it into the forearm as blades, or he can hold it in his hand like a sword, which is when I find that downward movement comes in handy, because then he can kind of hold it down like that, and that looks really cool to me. But my favorite thing to do with these is to take them, and they each have a post and a port and a port. So I will just port them together like this, make a big old great sword. This is my preferred way to have them in robot mode. Any fans of Monster Hunter out there will know what I'm talking about. This thing looks like a great sword you might get off of something in Monster Hunter, and I think that's really cool. So this is how I have it, and then just kind of have him slinging it up. This is where that other joint comes in handy, that other bug joint, but just clashing with the wing. You can have him sling that over his shoulder and have his gun up, and there you have his accessories with his big old diamond amethyst sword and his cool Tommy gun. And that really helped me like the robot mode. I really did start to enjoy the robot mode after I decided to give those two swords a chance as a giant great sword. And if you wanted to store it like that, you just have to clip it into the wing however you wanted, however you thought it looked good, and then you could store it in two pieces and have them put it together when you wanted to use it, or store it all as one big piece. Just make it fit, and that's your lot. But that's pretty much him in his robot mode. So we'll go ahead and take a look at the size comparisons real quick, and then we will move on to the transformation into insect mode. Alright, and there you have him with your core class. Skywarp for your core class size comparison, and they've got similar color schemes, so they look pretty good together. And there he is with the KO oversized Legends scale Skywarp, so he's basically a small deluxe by himself, but that is your Legend scale for now. Here he is with the Deluxe size Voyager class Studio Series 86 hot rod for your Deluxe scale comparison. Here he is with the Voyager class Cyclonus from Kingdom for your Voyager comparison, or if you want to, you could say that it's his buddy Bombshell, depending on who you think turned into Cyclonus. And last but not least, for your leader class size comparison, there he is with the Studio Series 86 leader class Slag figure. Alright, and that's pretty much it for his robot modes. We'll go ahead and get rid of his weapons real quick. Separate the swords. And we will get started on the transformation to get him into Grasshopper mode. First thing we are going to do is come around to the back here and fold these wings to the front to get them out of our way for now. And you're going to get this little panel here. There is a notch here for you to get under, and I like to start it, get it halfway, rotate his head around, and then we're going to cover his face with it. So we're just going to push it up as far as it'll go and nestle his face in there, and there you have Kickback's head transformed. We'll go ahead and take a look at him from this angle. I like to kind of make the wings parallel to the shoulder upper torso area, something similar to that. It's eyeball gain because there's no locking points or anything. It's just kind of whatever your preference is. For the arms, we're going to rotate them down so that way they line up straight with the wings. And then the way I do this is that there are looping points for the little legs here that go all the way up to here. I will loop them at one point, fold at the elbow for his arm, and then rotate this around to give him his grasshopper leg, and that is how I do that. We'll go ahead and do it on this side. So again, push that out one, push that back one, fold at the elbow, rotate his hands to become feet. For the back legs, not a lot going on here. We are going to, what I do is, there is his knee bend, and if you push it too far, it kind of snaps into place to solidify this so it's not wobbling around. This leg unfortunately doesn't really snap. It's just going to have to hold into place as is. Fold his feet up and in, his toes if you will. Then we're going to pull his back leg out to this, just as far as it'll go until it stops. You can go farther if you want, but I just go until it stops on the foot. Rotate this foot down and spin it around backwards so your details are on the outside, not your waffling. Same thing on the other side. Fold this out till it stops. Fold the foot down, you've got the hollow waffling out, so we're going to rotate it, have this backwards, and that's pretty much him as a grasshopper. We'll get him straightened out here, and then we'll lower, we will bump the camera. So alright, we bumped the camera so hard it almost fell out of my little setup here, and then I ended up stopping the video trying to fix it and closing my phone out. I am just that good at ruining everything. But here we have Kickback as a grasshopper, and we'll take a look at him and then show off his accessories. Nothing's changed from robot mode except the reveal of this foot and these legs coming out. Everything else is the same paint wise, and you've got some details on the back of his legs here that are kind of rounded from when the feet folded in, but everything else is almost exactly the same as far as looks go. There you have the top of the grasshopper, which is just Kickback's robot mode with the head turned around. There you have angle you in. Here you have the bottom of the grasshopper, which is just the back of Kickback's robot mode with the head turned around, the arms split open, and the legs grew some really big heels. And that's pretty much it for the bug mode as far as new details go. There's also a nice big old hollow space and a flap, and that's new. It's very basic. Transformation is super simple, but that's very Kickback as far as I have been led to believe. Like I said before, I know nothing. As far as articulation goes, you keep the wing posability from robot mode, you keep the shoulder posability from robot mode, even the outward movement. And then, like I showed during the transformation, these each have 2 stooping points. You have arm mode, where I like to keep them, and then forward. And the same goes for this, plus you have the elbow hinge and the rotation here at the foot, wrist assembly. And then for the back legs, everything is the same here, except those knees, which if you're lucky enough both will lock, because they're not supposed to bend there. You've got the bend here at the back, that goes out farther than this if you want, like I showed, but it really just is supposed to bend here. And then this little foot is on a ball joint, so you can rotate it for transformation. And because you have to fold it up for transformation, you do have pivoting forward and back, not really side to side. And that's pretty much it for his posability. So yeah, just a very G1-y basic guy. And that was fine. But the thing that ruined it for me originally was the weapon storage. I always liked where the gun stored because it was out of the way, and it is a Grasshopper that's been weaponized with a gun on his stomach, which I thought was kind of fun and silly, and I was okay with that. So his gun stores same spot I stored it in robot mode. There it is. It's on his belly. But what ruined it for me was the wings, because like I said, you can do it whichever way you want. I always stored it this way, up here, or hold on, I got that too high. I always stored it so that they were facing this way, because from the side profile it made it look better, but I was never happy with the way it looked from the front. I might even feel better if it was actually on this side, on the inside, but I never really liked this at all. And so I was considering putting them in a drawer, but then I found the sword and I was really happy with it. So I wanted them on bug mode, so I was like, maybe I can store them back here. Well, they don't fit very good. Or maybe I can store them on here, but they don't look very good in either of these either. And then there was a post that I saw on Bobby Skullface's review by a YouTuber named Cobalt, that is spelled K-O-B-A-L-T, all lowercase. Shout out to him. I doubt he'll ever see this, but shout out anyway. Who said that you could plug them into his butt to make it look like a thorax. So what I'll do is I'll leave it in greatsword mode, and then you come under here, and we'll spread the legs out, and there is a little slot here, and there's a peg hole up under the underside, and you'll take this peg for the sword, and there are these little notches on the back side that I always wondered what they were for. Well, they're for this. So you slide this in here, and that all locks into place. Now you'll lose your waist swivel this way, but I wasn't going to use it anyway. And then put the legs back to the side, and now he has a Grasshopper thorax butt type deal. How cool is that? That is how I store his weapons in his Grasshopper mode, and just being able to store them like that, and it kind of giving him a longer thorax like, you know, your Grasshopper or your Crickets would have, that just kind of made my day when I learned that from that comment. And it has made me so happy with this figure that my opinion on it went from I'll get it to complete it, to I got it and I don't like it, to I like the robot because I like the sword but I still don't like the Grasshopper, to now I'm okay with all the modes. The transformation is still very basic, but that's kind of charming in a way, and now I like both modes because you can give him a bright Energon great sword butt, and that's just really cool. So we'll go ahead and take a look at his insect mode size comparisons, and then we will move on to our final thoughts for the guy, which basically I just almost covered right there. So it'll be a really quick section this time. Alright, and here for your alt mode size comparison, there he is with core class Starscream for your core class size comparison. Here he is with the oversized Legends scale Starscream, that knockoff New Age for your Legends size comparison. Here he is with fellow Deluxe class Skids for your Deluxe class size comparison, and he's a pretty big Grasshopper. He doesn't compact very much. Here he is with another Starscream. Here he is with the Here he is with the Earthrise Voyager Starscream for your Voyager class comparison. And last but not least, for your Leader class size comparison, here he is with the Leader class Studio Series 86 Grimlock. I thought it would be really funny to do all Starscreams, but in order to do that, I would need a Classics Deluxe Starscream and some kind of probably a Masterpiece sized Leader class Starscream, because Masterpiece and certain Leaders are in a similar scale. So if I get a hold of those, we'll end up with a bunch of Starscreams for Deluxes, guys. Alright, and that is it basically for Kickback, and that is it for Legacy Wave 1. Like I said in the skit with Kickback, it is a pretty good group of guys, and I really do like it. And I think that I might actually, since I have all of the wave for once, do a ranking. Not 100% sure. We'll see what happens with that. As far as cons go, the transformation's basic, and I've got that knee that doesn't click into place. That's about it for cons. The thigh swivel is loose too. As far as everything else, any other cons I had turned into positives because of things I discovered. Purple weapons in robot mode, positive, great sword, really cool, love it. Purple weapons in alt mode becomes a bug butt, awesome, love it, great, let's keep that. And like I said, I like his gun, his belly gun, and I like the way the gun looks for robot mode. I like both insect and robot mode now, and you know what? Like I said before, the transformation being simple is actually kind of charming. So we're going to strike that from the cons. That's a positive. His only cons are QC issues with mine, and that's loose thighs and that one knee doesn't thoop for Grasshopper Mode. That's my cons. The loose thighs, I don't know if it's widespread. I can fix that. The issue with the knee, I don't know if I can fix, but the knee is so stiff that I don't think it's going to hurt my feelings that much. And that's pretty much it for Kickback. So go ahead and check out the rest of my Legacy Wave 1 reviews. There's a description linked below there's a playlist linked in the description below. I know how to words, I do, as well as some other playlists and my social media accounts. Go ahead and give the video a like if you liked it. If you learned something new, like the bug butt, go ahead and remember that is not my idea, but I do love it. And go ahead and subscribe if you want to, and I will catch you guys later. Alright guys, I was thinking about continuing doing opening and end skits, but I decided that I wasn't sure if I was going to. What the heck was that? Oh.